Hold on to your hats, boys.
Libos.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week.
A little bit old for you, but
without deep into Danny Roll, please don't clip that.
been truly horrific having this season away from home.
I want goals.
It was nice to have football back, wasn't it?
How poor do we have to be before it's happening? How much blood from this stone does he have to get?
The Wednesday Week.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to another episode of the Wednesday Week. Tonight, joining me, I've got Ash, Stevie, and Charlie, and we are on the back of a 1-1 draw injury time extravaganza against Queen's Park Rangers at home. Danny Rall's men stopped a rot of 3 games on the bounce by not scoring any points, by deciding they were going to score some and then throw it all away in the final few seconds. We'll get into that as it goes along. Chaz, how are you? You all right? It's been a while. It's been a hot minute.
It's been a hot minute. I've cut all my hair off. Now it looks rubbish on the podcast. I should have thought about this.
The earphones give you a lovely fringe combo
I've
there.
got a mullet.
I like it.
Mullet, which
all
is
the trendy kids.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the kids have gone for the what they call the Joe Dirt Shadrach Dingle / Joe Exotic look. So you're well in.
I just need a vape now, and I'll get the youth vote for us.
Yeah, getting it down. There is nobody in the youth voting for this. Speaking of middle-aged men, middle-aged white men specifically, Ash, how are you? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, not bad, thanks. Yeah, all good. Yeah. Bit of a crap day at work, but a bit of therapy tonight with you guys. I'll sort that out, no doubt.
Well, that's what Monday is, isn't it? We all come back on the back of a Monday, and we've all had the most Mondayest of Mondays. And to cap it off, Stevie did the old man trick of pocket dialing a group chat today. So Grandad Stevie is with us this evening. Are you all right? Have you switched it to the T position? Can you hear us all right, Stevie? Yeah.
You rat bastard.
Nothing sacred in our WhatsApp, is there, eh?
Listen. It's been that busy a week today. Honestly, it's been absolutely crackers. I feel like it's been going for about 14 days this Monday. But yeah, like Ash said, long day at work, and I'm ready to sit down and chew the fat with you. Well, Charlie and Ash, I'm looking forward to. You might get some abuse.
That's fair. That is fair. I usually deserve it, and I'm probably going to go on a big rant at some point this evening. Because damn fudge. Now, if you haven't heard it already, we did release our questions and answers, our Q&A episode, our inaugural one. I'll not lie, it was Ash's idea, and I did have some trepidation where I was sat there thinking, who the fuck do we think we are? Spouting off our opinions across the internet. However, what was meant to be a 25-minute episode rocked into nearly an hour, and it's not too shabby. So if you do get a spare moment, like and subscribe. Don't forget the ring bell, and yeah, give it a listen. It's actually all right. And
pure therapy. That was.
It really was. We'd had a shitty day at work, and we sat there at very late at night just chewing the shit. It was absolutely banging. And there's no bloody women on it either, so that's nice, isn't it? It's a joke. Don't cancel me.
Oh.
That was.
Let's hope Bernadette's not watching.
Shout out Bernadette.
Yeah.
Look, Bernadette. Look,
love you, Bernadette.
I just to give reference to that, ladies and gentlemen, we did get some abuse that we didn't have the ladies on the last couple of weeks. So Charlie, welcome to diversity bingo. Look, you know what I mean.
Thank you. It's so nice to be here. I love football.
It's because Holly and Charlie do have a life, and us men really don't. So they are busy usually on a Monday night.
Holly's not been in the country for 2 weeks. How dare she have a holiday?
that rat bastard coming in here, having holidays, ruining our podcast, and getting us cancelled, and we're the one with the women on it. What kind of bullshit's that? How are we getting abuse for that? What nonsense? Anyway, again, yeah, Sharman's gone in with LOHR podcast HR. Sharman was me. But it was something that they had to take off me because the lines were getting greyed all over the place. You know what I mean? There was a lot going on.
And you can't phone yourself.
yeah, Dan, you've been out of order this week. Yeah, I'll let it slide. Oh, thanks, Dan. That's dead nice. You know what I mean? That's kind of how the conversations went. Now, Queen's Park Rangers, a game where I felt had a bit of a must-win about it, not because of the proximity of the league and stuff like that, just in order to stop the fans kicking off and ripping the chairs out. 3 losses on the bounce, 3 heavy losses on the bounce, and we were back at home, back on a Saturday afternoon, back at Hillsborough, and this was a game. I mean, Chaz, before the game started, you must have been pretty confident, right?
Yeah, and I think it's funny, isn't it? Because the phrase "must win" is like when you think of last season, the stakes of something being must win are like so much higher. And I think what we were actually saying with this is like it would be great to get a win. Let's get the season back on track, kind of thing. I think on paper, yeah, but I think also this season for everybody is such a big clean slate as well, because it's like now you can see who's starting to rise to the top and who's trying to sort of sink to the bottom. So I think it's hard to kind of look and be like, oh, we should be beating QPR. Well, based on what? You know what I mean? Like this, it's all kind of a bit, you know, from where people were last season, it's like kind of a bit all over the shop. But I was quietly confident. I did think that like there would have been a lot done over international break that was going to address some of the slight errors, the slight humongous errors from the previous few games. There was a fresh startness about it. So yeah, quietly confident.
Quietly confident. What about you, Ash? Did you were you feeling it? Were you feeling it?
Yeah, I was. I think it was just discussed last week as well. It's you looked at the Sunderland Leeds results, and yeah, they are. And it was Millwall that really kicked you, because that's a team that we were hoping to be roundabout in the same sort of position. Same with QPR. I think QPR is one of those you look at them and you're thinking, look, they're going to be roughly in the same sort of place that we want to be. We're at home. Yes, all right. We had a great result against Plymouth and not so good against Leeds, but always at home. I think the atmosphere and the ground and the fans, especially on a nice sunny afternoon as well. Yeah, I was pretty confident about QPR controls, but I've got to say.
Yeah, me and all. I mean, Ash is right there, Stevie. Any like, you know, we've said before that we kind of forgave Sunderland and Leeds the results there because of the start that Sunderland had, albeit that they lost to Wayne Rooney's Plymouth Argyle trademark on Saturday, which is quite hilarious. But I won't go. But there was a lot of chat today on the radio about how shit they were, and they've ended up getting a win against a team that's been, well, bloody brilliant this season, if I'm honest. But the Millwall one absolutely stank. So, you know, we wanted to come back with a bang. Were you feeling it?
I was kind of in the middle for everything that's just been said, to be honest with you. And I agree with the Sunderland game. I agree with the Leeds. You know, you chalk the Leeds one up in particular. Sunderland, I wasn't expecting, if I'm honest with you. I didn't realise that they would be as good as they were. And I know that we went away and we went up there, but they were comfortably better than us on the day. Leeds are just they were just you know, they're that team that have come down from the Premier League and flirting with promotion last season. So yeah, you look at that one. As we've just said, the Millwall game has sort of tempered my expectations a little bit. So going into the game, I was kind of looking beyond last Saturday just gone. And we've got West Brom coming up, we've got Luton coming up, we've got Bristol City, who were no mugs, coming up. We've got some challenges over the next sort of 4 or 5 games. For me, we just needed to stop the rot, and that was the thing for me. So I was a little bit cautious, a little bit more cautious than one or two others. I didn't expect us to lose, but I wasn't sure we were going to win. We'll get into it. I just wanted to see a performance and a reaction from the Millwall game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and I tell you what, let's get into it. So I've got a new fancy infographic. I'm going to stick it on. It's the lineup. I'll read it out for those people who are listening in their cars. So we've got JB in goal, as per usual. A back three of Firmino, Ihekwe, and Liam Palmer. We'll get into that. And then Johnson down the left and Valerie down the right. And then in the middle, we had Bannon and Charles, Kabatsky, Ugbo, Windass, Oh God, I tell you what, it's been a long day, hasn't it? Formulating the attack. Forming. Is it just forming the attack?
Forming the attack.
I'm going to cut that bit out, make myself sound great. So there we are. So that's what's happening now. In terms of that back three, Ashley, for Maywo over Bernard, Valerie over Valentin, and Palmer playing centre back. It seemed a bit cobbled together, didn't it? If you'd have given me an opportunity, you know, if you'd have said to me, we're going to play 3 centre backs and a couple of wing backs, that wouldn't be the 3 I'd have gone with or chosen, would you?
Probably not, but then I'm not the manager, am I? And everyone's got different opinions on who to start and who to play. I think Iorfa came back late, didn't he? And that's probably why he didn't start. I mean, I've not had an issue, and I know a lot of people have. I've not had an issue with Inekwe, to tell you the truth. Once he's played, I think he's been solid. He's headed everything away. You know, typical League One defender. I think he's just got an head on it or got something on it. And I've not been that. And same with Famewo as well. Palmer's not played many minutes, but same again. He can play anywhere. And if he was going to play right back or if he was going to play centre back, I think you're happy with it. Do you know what I mean? You've got, look, he's no world beater, Steve, because I've mentioned his name, but is a stable set of hands into. You know, if you're going to put him in there, he's not going to be a world beater or anything, but he's very rarely going to make a mistake. So I was happy with it. I've got to say I was happy with it. Johnson in for Lowe. For me, I think that was a great move. I know social media after the aftermath had different opinions on Marvin Johnson, but it's funny how we all see the same game through different eyes.
Yeah. That is weird. There's been a few comments about Windass and Johnson specifically, hasn't there? Yeah,
he has. And the rest of it is, I think Bannon and Charles is going to be the centre pairing that I think he's going to want to stick with now. Great to see Kabaski get a start. I really quite like the look of him. And then Ugbo Windass, I think they're always going to be in, aren't they? So a few changes, but yeah, you're looking at that, and I wasn't upset about it. It didn't sour me beer.
I just didn't think it'd be my first choice, if I'm honest. Let's cut to the information superhighway people, and then I'll come to Charlie and Stevie on that one. Ash, what have we got talking about players such as Bernard taking a rest? Because he came under a bit of fire after Millwall and after Sunderland as well. So, but Sharman there's gone with Bernard needed a rest after the international break. So yeah, I kind of get that. Yeah, he's probably been away.
I think Jay Bloggs sums it up here. I think this is quite a cracking point. Combining Ekwe and Iorfa, and we'd have one hell of a centre half.
Yeah, we would. Yeah, we would. He'd be absolute world beater.
I think you're right there. Yeah, there we are.
All right. Now, Charlie,
crack on, Dan.
Thanks, man. Charlie, when it comes to playing 5 at the back or 3-3-2-4-1-7-6, don't say fuck or bugger. When it comes to playing wing backs, surely, as soon as you hear that we're going to play that formation, Johnson's going to come back into it, right? It's kind of expected, right?
Yeah, and he can't do right for doing right, Camporel Johnson. When he doesn't play, he's the best player in the world. And when he's on the pitch, all he gets is pelters. I don't understand it. Like, I agree. I don't think he put a foot wrong, really. Not any more than anyone else, sort of, it stands out. But it's all like, when are we going to have the conversation about how shit he is? Maybe never. I don't know. That's crazy. But when he doesn't play, he is the king of benchitis. Like, he absolutely 1,000,000%. He is all anyone wants to see. I think what he does well, he does great. And I really do think he's very unfairly. I'm really riding from Johnson. It's like making a stand. I just don't think he does anything to warrant the pelters he gets. It's strange.
The only thought I had was they've got Dembele on the right, and I just thought his defense. I think Lowe's defensive is better than Johnson's, but I know what Johnson brings, and I totally agree with that. Playing 3 at the back, you can have Johnson. So I just didn't know whether the attacking of Dembele, who's been in great form, was going to be a negative to Marvin, but he was quiet as anything.
Yeah,
he wasn't in the game at all. The Dembele at all.
Marvin man in his pocket, mate. That's where it is, or LP2, you know what I mean. But Stevie, I'm going to make you talk about another player, Masaba taking a back seat in order for the formation change. Come under a bit of fire from us. In terms of being that player that dribbles it into the box and don't really deliver, don't get it in the mixing bowl, takes it 1-2 touch too many. A lot like what we said about Gassama over the last season. Do you feel like it was a tactical change or just to sit him out a bit, that type of thing? I mean, for all intents and purposes, it worked. I mean, if Windass and Ugbo put their shoes on the right feet, we could have had 3 or 4 there, right?
It had to change, didn't it?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we had to change something. We had to mix it up. And I don't think after losing 3 on the bounce in the manner that we lost, particularly the Millwall game, which I still haven't seen anything of, by the way. For me, as far as I'm concerned, if you're one of the starting 11, one of the mainstays of the first 4 games, and you are sat out, I don't think you've got any arguments. Beadle aside, goalkeeper aside, I don't think you can hold the goalkeeper to account. And I think Ugbo, you know, whilst he's not firing on all cylinders at the moment with his extenuating circumstances there, but that row, that layer behind him and behind that, and then going back even further, there's nobody pulled up any trees. And I know we probably weren't scheduled to talk about this, but I think it might have been mentioned last week. Actually, Player of the Month was Svante Ingolson, who got Player of the Month for the game that was the first game of the season. And with due respect to the guy, because it's not happening for him at the moment. He's done very little since. So I don't think anybody could have had any complaints about being left out. Masaba flatters to deceive at times. I still think there's a player in there. You know, you can't argue with his numbers from the back end of last season. He was the combined goals and assist player, wasn't he? He was top of that list at the end of the season. That got him the plaudits. But I wasn't. And this is maybe an indictment on him. I wasn't disappointed that he wasn't involved, if that makes sense. And I'm the same with Gassama at the moment. Gassama certainly feels more like an impact player than somebody who's going to go and be involved from the off. So I had no quarrel. I had no argument. I wasn't disappointed that he wasn't in on Saturday.
No, that's fair. Ash, let's get into the first half. Pretty quiet first half. We looked a bit more assured at the back. I'll not lie, I was at work, and watching a game back when you know what happens right at the end is bloody awful. God almighty, it's one of the. I hope you lot know what we do for the show, because it is tedious. You're absolutely sat there watching a game that you know where 2 goals get scored in your time like that, with your notepad going, oh yeah, that balloon that one. And the first half, sod all happened, didn't it? There was a shot where Windass was in the 18, and I think Ugbo blazed a header over the bar, didn't he? I mean, tell us about it.
Yeah, I think the first thing before kickoff is they turned us round, didn't they? Hey, who does that? They're 1,300 travelling souls, and they made their way up, and they get turned around. And I thought that was a bit shit. I never like that, so I don't know why teams do it. Well, there's a reason, isn't there? I suppose, but I don't like it. No, I think for me, we've gone. I think probably every game this season, the first 10 minutes, we've been on top. We've had the possession. We've looked steady. Do you know what I mean? And it's been good play, but then it gets to like 12 minutes, and then you're thinking, oh, they've come back into it. But we didn't have that on Saturday. I didn't feel. I thought first 35 minutes, we were well on top. We're not cruising, obviously, score-wise, but I thought we looked composed in possession. We had some great attacking threat. We just couldn't, like you say, cow's arse with a banjo. It was a bit, not embarrassing, that's too harsh, but it was wasteful, very wasteful. And it's like there's a chance. Oh, like you said, Windass, that one went well over. It was just, I just got that feeling that it's not going to be our day. It's not going to be our day. And some of the playing was really good. I thought some of the quick movement moved it. You know, Steve, sorry.
No, carry on. I just want to ask you. Sorry, it's me. Yeah, sorry, that's me. I'm sorry.
And then I thought some of the play was really good, but then there were some wayward passes as well, and it got frustrating. But a much improved first half. Obviously, the best first half we've seen since Wayne Rooney's Plymouth.
Wayne Rooney's Plymouth Argyle. Stevie, go on.
I was just going to ask Ash what he thought. What's more important? That performance. Do you not think it was important that we rocked up? I personally wasn't concerned that we weren't winning the game, even though we were on top, because of the way that the last few games had gone. So I'd gone into half time, and even going into the second half, having that element of patience, I was quite heartened by the way we were playing.
No. No, I totally agree that we needed a performance. We needed a hell of a lot better. Even the first half against Grimsby as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was we needed that, but it was just we've seen it many times where we've had 3-4 really good chances, and that one for Windass was really bad miss. And I was just thinking, yes, the performance is there, but we don't want the old adage of ruin your chances, and that's how I felt. Obviously,
I agree with that as well.
Going into the halftime break.
Chaz, in the first half, there was also a great little cut inside and a Iron Robin-esque slap from Olaf Kabatsky. He's been a bit of a player that I thought would be a fringe player when we signed him. I didn't think he'd get much game time. I thought that Gassama and Masaba might take it off him and Windass somewhat. But he seems to be staking a decent claim for a shirt, doesn't he? He seems to be, in what's been a tumultuous time for us, where we haven't won in 4, people are starting to say his name a little bit. Got voted. Are we allowed to say man of the match anymore? Is that a thing? Can we still say that? Do I have to say player of the match? I'm looking at Charlie and Stevie as our diversity officers.
I'm happy with man of the match, but
I'd prefer woman of the match, but it would be inaccurate. So you can say man.
But he did.
Person of the match.
Person of the match. Player of the match.
Player of the match. Because God forbid we call a man a man. So
it's a matter of time before they become MVPs. To be fair, isn't it? Let's get it right.
Yeah. So he got voted MVP. Chaz turned into a decent player for us, isn't he? He's going to be knocking on the door of Masaba's shirt, isn't he? And Gassama's and whatnot, depending on where we play him.
Yeah, I rate him. I think there's an element as well of like sometimes, and this sounds a really stupid thing to say, so I apologize in advance for women everywhere, but sometimes it's the ones that aren't doing the really flashy stuff that are actually like your gold star players. I think with the likes of like Masaba, I do rate him, but I think he can see the narrative sometimes. Like I think he can just be like, and here I am to save the day. Look at me go. Oh fuck.
And
it's like
a kid on the park going, and here he goes down the line. He's cut inside. Lineker, you know
it's me. Woo! And it's like I think Windass is kind of similar. Like I think Windass plays for the team, but he scores for himself. And I think there's an element of that. Whereas I feel like, I can't pronounce his last name, Olaf. I feel like he's there to get a job done. And I think there's a lot to be said for a player that's like, hello, I'm just trying to like sort of, get what needs to get done. And it doesn't have to be about me, guys. It's about the team. It's about all of us. And I think you can see a lot of that. I rate him. I think he's good. I think the wayward passing that we were seeing against at Millwall, I think it depressed me more than anything, because it was like, why are we just giving them the ball? Like we're not being dispossessed. We're dispossessing ourselves. There was less of that, and I think he generally looked a bit more comfortable on the ball. And like I think Danny is still arguably finding his starting 11, isn't he? Like I hate to say it, because the more you say things like people get frustrated, like, oh, you've had a whole pre-season for that. Well, yeah, but at the same time, like it's still a work in progress, and I think that's fine.
I tell you what, it's weird you mentioned pre-season, because the pre-season under Chisco, I remember going, that is worrying, especially that Real Murcia game. I was like, that is actually worrying. But you sit there and convince yourself, you go, hey, it's only pre-season, he's trying it all out, and then you look back on our pre-season and go, shit, were we just rubbish? You know what I mean? Is that what it was? But there was still a good feeling around the club, and then we smashed Plymouth 4-0, and all of a sudden we were winning the league on day one. So jot that down. Ash, on the World Wide Webs, what have we got?
I was just going to say I quite like the look of Kabatsky, I've got to say.
Mm-hmm.
Jay Blogs, Kabatsky also shows some great feet and will be a great player for us. I think you were right, Dan. I thought he was going to be a really bit part player, just coming on, maybe cup games and stuff, but actually slotted in all right, didn't he? I thought it was pretty good.
There's been there was actually a point as well, and I've got to say this as well. Do you remember the flick that Windass tried to do against Sunderland, and it cost us a goal? He pulled it off. He pulled it off on Saturday. And I think it was Holly who said on the show, didn't she, after the Sunderland game, saying if he'd have pulled that off a different part of the pitch, you wouldn't have thought twice about it. You'd have gone, too right, you should have done that. And he done it. So, practice makes perfect, kids. What else we got, Ash, on the interwebbings?
Gary Fox as Kabaski played well in patches, seemed to drift in and out. A bit of confidence, I think. Yeah, maybe.
I'd agree.
Maybe it's I think it's his first league start. I think he started in against Grimsby, but his first league start, obviously in front of 26,000. He's going to have a little bit of confidence issue. Yeah. But I thought he played well, and obviously you guys did because he was, like I said, voted.
That also describes Dan watching the game back, drifting in and out, losing a bit of confidence. So,
honestly, it's the most tedious task because you think, I'll get away with the highlights. And then you think, no, hang on, I want to watch that again. And then after about third or fourth time, you go, sod this, I'll just watch it. I'll just watch it and scroll my phone like I normally watch a game at home. And then there was a lot more phone scrolling than I'd like to admit. Stevie. Second half came around. There must have been a trepidation because we seemed to concede after we've come in at half time because keep it tight, lads. It's 0-0 into it. Doesn't exist. But unless it is actually 0-0. Did you go into half time thinking we're winning this? We've got this. Or did you just think, yeah, this is better? Because like you said, before you go into the game, we weren't expecting, I don't know. I wasn't expecting to win, but I felt the pressure on was to two things: avoid defeat and put a performance in. Did you feel we'd done that by half time?
I felt more confident at half time than I did at kickoff based on the first half performance. And I genuinely thought that we'd go on and win the game. And when the goal went in right at the end, I'm not going to bypass the entire second half, but when the goal went in right
honestly,
at the end, I actually thought...
What happened in the second half that I've really got to talk about? Like,
hey, I mean, to be fair, you can summarise it, and what we do, pulling back the sort of curtain as to how we go about these things. We watch the game live. We'll tend to go back and have a look at the highlights. We'll pick up a package here and there. If there's anything of note, you'll go and watch it again. It was more of the same, wasn't it? And I, from my point of view, I was expecting a little bit more from QPR. I expected QPR to be a little bit better on paper than Millwall were, based on the things that we'd heard from Millwall. I don't know if the Millwall game, as the season pans out, will prove to be something of an anomaly. And I listened, interestingly enough, I listened to Neil Harris talk before the Luton game on Saturday, and everything that they did referenced the performance against Sheffield Wednesday. And it was almost as if you listen back to that interview on Sky, it was almost as if they were surprised at how they played against us. And I don't know if that's...
There is no way, shape or form they played well enough to have a 3-0 scoreline. It was dour, it was tepid, it was flaccid, it was moribund, if you will, in terms of how a football game is to pan out. How they won 3-0, how any of those teams won 3-0 on that day was absolutely disgraceful. That will, like you say, it will turn up and be an anomaly by the end of it. But Ash, if you want to flash up, we've had a number of comments saying QPR were poor. Did you feel that?
Yeah, I think that they didn't offer as much as I thought. Not obviously, I've not seen a lot of QPR, but I did the Hello from the Other Side with Ben, the QPR fan from W12 podcast. And
available on all your places where you get your podcasts on YouTube and
you can listen.
All the social medias.
Yeah. All the social.
Yeah, he was quite confident, and he was. They played well, and Cifuentes had obviously done a great job last season. So they have the same pre-season, going into it with a bit of confidence, and they signed lost a couple of strikers, but signed a couple as well. Obviously, we mentioned Dembele and the big guy up front. Apologies, I can't remember his name.
Lyndon Dykes.
They got rid of him. Yeah, him and Sinclair had gone. But I don't know who they brought in, some other guy. But I was disappointed, but obviously happy that they didn't turn up. We just couldn't capitalise, could we? And that's probably a frustrating thing. Stevie mentioned it earlier. The run of games we've got coming up is not easy. But then again, a lot of looking like 95% of these games in this league aren't going to be easy. So any points you get or any points that you throw away is going to hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely it is. Now, you mentioned earlier on that something that reminded me of it, and we're recording right now at the same time as the Hollywood Derby, aren't we? So we've got Tom Brady's Birmingham City playing against Rob McElhenney's and Ryan Reynolds as Wrexham. It's 1-1, and ex-Sheffield Wednesday legend Jack Marriott scoring for Wrexham in the first 3 minutes. So, there's our invested interest. Now, Chaz Beans, Chaz Barella, Chazarola. Let's get to the goal, and we're all going to speak about this goal because I need to talk about this goal because I don't want to pull away from the fact that this was a mega goal. I absolutely love it. I mean, if we'd have won on that goal, I'd have been like, yeah.
Honestly, it was like any goal at that point would have had like a massive reaction, wouldn't it? Because one of those, like, we kept being like, oh, I'd said like, God, we could play for 180 minutes here, we're not going to score, kind of thing. So for any goal to go in, had that big relief. But it was such a sexy goal, and for Bannon to get like a sexy goal after it's been ages. Like, I think we got so used to watching him bash him in League One that we were a bit like, oh, he's overdue one, and it was just so like it was like a roundhouse kick. Like, it was nuts. Like, it was just, and it had that real feeling of like, for God's sake, bang about it, which I thought was great. And yeah, at the risk of being a bit like, if my nan had wheels, she'd be a Ford Fiesta or whatever. Had Berry not then gone on to score, we'd have gone, yep, that was the match. We played better. Took us a while, but we got the goal in. Like, we would have looked at the whole game and gone, yes. And I think a lot of QPR fans had said the same, that you deserve to win. They would have been like, yeah, you were knocking on the door for a goal. You got a goal. So
it was missing off the social media, that goal. Yeah. No one was talking about it, were they? It obviously was all the scramble, the equaliser, and not enough people did lament about that goal.
I reckon that'll be on a highlight reel at the back end of the season. It has to be. The technique was absolutely superb. And Stevie, come on, man. These are the ones that when we were teenagers used to wake up, you'd randomly kick the pillow, or you know what I mean, or kick your girlfriend for that night up the arse. And you're like, what are you doing? I'm just scoring the winning goal.
Podcast HR, that never happened.
Like, what are you doing? I'm just scoring a goal. There's just one Sheffield Wednesday the FA Cup. But you know what I mean? You know, we've all had that dream, right? And that's the one in it, Stevie. That's the finish, isn't it?
That goal was outstanding, and without hyperbole. That might end up being goal of the season for us. I personally am a fan of build-up goals. The 25, 30 passes, keeping possession of the ball, you play out from the back, and then somebody slide rules a pass in between the fullback and the centre half. And, a 6-yard goal for me that's off the back of, a build-up play like that are the goals that I like to see. That on Saturday, just the technique alone, in the circumstance as it was at the time, I thought was absolutely outstanding, absolutely phenomenal. And I just want to say a little bit, and I know Ash is on. It was interesting. I can't remember where he said in the last couple of weeks that he's not been Baz's. He might have been the Q&A actually. He's not known for being Baz's biggest fan. Interestingly, we've also said that it's interesting how we see games and players in different sort of lights. One person might think the player's done particularly well. Bannon got a couple of pelters from certain people saying that he'd not done very well. I thought Bannon actually played quite well on Saturday,
and I didn't.
And this is it. I thought he'd done all right. But for him to be that person, I think again it goes back to the things that we were talking about on the other show.
You should listen to this Q&A, folks. Just because I feel like
not I'm plugging it or anything like that, but
I feel like it's like we're watching the sequel before we've watched the first one here, right? You know what I mean? Lots of callbacks that no one's going to get.
I just thought that at that moment it had to be him, and the technique was absolutely ridiculous. Ridiculous. Nobody else in our team could have done that. We do respect Windass couldn't have done that. Charles couldn't have done that. Ugbo couldn't have done that. There was only one player that could have done what he did, and he did it.
Now,
unfortunately, it means fuck all. Well, it means 1 point, doesn't it? That's the problem.
It does. Again, that wasn't
a goal like that should have won the game, but it didn't. So that's the
particularly in the circumstances and the context that the goal was scored.
Yeah, the issue being is that obviously because of the nature of the goal, and let's get into it, because of the nature of the goal that they equalise with even later in injury time, dominates the proceedings in terms of social media, because it's, as far as the internet people are concerned, it's so hilariously EFL. Like, it is the absolute poster boy of a shitty EFL goal. Hilariously, playing Sunday League, I got 6 in a season, and a good 50% of them every year would have looked like that. You know what I mean? And I'd have wheeled away to the 6 people and the dog watching, going, get in, up the damn fudge, pistol fingers, pew, 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 pew. You know what I mean? It'd have all happened. I don't get to score many, but score many with me feet. You know what I mean? Now, let's get into the goal, Ash, because, oh God, I've watched it 1,000 times and I still can't see who kicks it. I can see where the fouls are. I've seen a number of them. Did the referee let it play on too long, or should we have just cleaned our lines? Or both?
Referee definitely got it wrong on a number of occasions, didn't it? But you got to play to the whistle and all the usual. You got to play and just get rid if you can, or do so. And I don't know I don't know whether it's just mega being pissed off about the goal that I think, but I question what Beadle was doing. I don't
pulled to the ground, I think. I'd say
he dived in for the ball and obviously didn't get it. Well, as if he just stood on his line in the center of the goal, he would have been there. But it's not putting any. The most blame goes to the ref, of course, but you've got to play to the whistle, and we've seen it too many times that we do lack confidence.
It's both. It's both.
It's both.
Game management.
Now,
Beadle's got to go for that. Beadle's got to. If Beadle doesn't come off his line for that,
what, get sent off? He's got to go. Get him off. Get him off.
Anything on the. If you're a goalkeeping coach, you're being coached as a goalkeeper, and the ball is loose in your 6-yard box. In that situation, you've got to throw yourself out. You've got to try and smother the ball. Like you just said, though, Dan, what's happened there is there's been an absolute melee that we can't sort of unpick. You see the stills of the fellas sitting on top of Beadle or pushing him to the ground, whatever happens. You see 1 or 2 other incidents that people have talked about. The most interesting thing for me was when it's all happened, and I'll say this, when it's all happened, the goal's gone in that situation, if we are not happy with what's happened, I would have expected to have seen Palmer, Bannon, Beadle, all chasing the referee, all going after them. Not one of them has given the referee any grief whatsoever. So they've kind of just gone, Beadle gives it a bit of that, but then we've kind of gone, oh shit, no.
Because that can make a difference. We've seen that so many times where, like, there's that split second where the ref's a bit like, did I see what I think I saw? And sometimes the reaction to something can have an influence. I just think,
I don't know.
Totally
I don't know.
agree.
I'm one of them that really hates that side of the game. But I wanted Ash to put this comment on here. It was ridiculous.
How did I know which comment you were going to say? I just knew it.
It was like the scene in Jingle All the Way where they open up the shop doors and everyone's fighting for the Turbo Man doll. Absolute scenes. I don't know why absolute scenes made that funnier. But Chaz, look, there was a number of fouls, and I've got to say that there were a couple there. You know, one of our players got pulled back. Beadle got sat on. I think,
Palmer
there's even
chopped down, I think, as well.
Somebody got chopped. But have you seen the other angle of it? Shea Charles goes in, both feet up, waist high, and essentially makes it worse for everybody. I think one of our players is about to hoof it, and Shea Charles comes in drop kicking like a WWE wrestler, doesn't he?
I think, and I think in the scramble, there were things that I think if you'd have put that under scrutiny, like if we had VAR, which we don't, but like you could have potentially chalked that off, or if it had been us, it would have got chalked off. But at the same time, there's got to be an element of like you can't break what you're not holding, like a kid with a vase. Do you know what I mean? It's a bit like, if you're not in that situation to be having a scramble at that last minute, it can't go in whether you're getting fouled or not. And I think that's what was disappointing, is it was that switch off. It's like, why can't we have just played those last few seconds out? Like, why were we in that? And it was comedic. It seemed to go on for like an hour. as well. It was the
Yeah.
longest
It went
Scrabble.
on for so
Was it?
long.
Was it like? Was it?
Scrabbles was just. Oh.
Was it a foul right before? Not the corner. Before that, there was a foul. I think Lowe pushed the one back.
So
yes,
the
really
outline,
silly challenge.
And then
but
for
before that, it was the challenge on Masaba, which looked like a foul beforehand. So I thought it was. Looking back at it, I thought Masaba was fouled before Lowe's gone in. I thought what Lowe did was stupid, and I remember thinking at the time,
It was pointless.
He's not just made contact; he's actually reached his arm out and extended it and pushed him. So you're going to give that, but I thought Masaba was fouled literally 2 seconds before Lowe conceded the foul.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Can I just say one more thing, though? Can I just say one more thing? So sorry. In
Stop
all of
saying
this,
sorry. It really annoys when you pair say sorry. It's you two specifically, right? We're going to have another backstage annual AGM here. You'll be saying something, and one of you will go, "Oh, that reminds me of this. Sorry to interject." And then you'll sit there going, "No, go ahead. No, sorry. No, go ahead." And you're apologising for talking, but you're still talking. Just
apologies,
say it.
Dan. Apologies.
Fuck's sake. Come on, man.
In all of this,
great host.
In all of this, the goal, the initial goal line block by Bernard will go unrecognised.
As a centre half,
as a centre half, Bernard chucking himself on the line to block the shot was absolutely outstanding defending.
I thought it was a Beadle save. Either way,
no,
I thought
did.
Beadle made a world.
It's 100% Bernard.
Is it?
It was the absolute epitome of literal body on the line. It really was. It was brilliant, and it's really and the fact that that's going to counter for nothing, and it's really frustrating, isn't it? And North York Sal's gone with sorry, brilliant. Okay, so listen, some people are going to try and sell you something. Bear with me, folks. And we're back. So it's seamless, that, isn't it? It's seamless. So right then, so in the Sheffield Wednesday drew 1-1 in injury time. Let's put a pin in that. But it's great to have a point on the board after going 3 games barren. So listen, a bit of a brief one. Ash, I'll come to you on this because I feel like it's got a bit of needle in it, and I wanted to see what your thoughts were. So Josh Windass has been speaking to the Sheffield staff, talking about the crowd and talking about how toxic it can go and stuff like that. And he kind of says, "Leave us alone. We were fighting relegation now. Why are you getting on our back? It's great when it's great, but it's awful when it's shit." And there's part of me that's kind of like, well, yeah.
I haven't seen it. I haven't read it or anything about it. But just do your job. Just, in it, just don't miss from 2 yards out. Here. Yeah. Just do it. Yeah, do your job. Don't miss from 2 yards out.
Job.
It's a job not to berate fans, though, is it? God,
I do my job a lot better if I didn't have somebody going boo, boo, lump it forward, boo in my face the entire time. I agree. I broadly agree. Like, absolutely.
Stevie does get that.
That is their job. But, boo, Mr. Spence, boo. But like, I don't know. It just. There is also an element. It's not so much about like they don't deserve pelters, they don't deserve the atmosphere, but there is a point about like we're all or nothing always. If we're winning, we are the greatest team in the entire world, and if we're losing, we're the worst team in the entire world, and everything's terrible from the color of the grass to the color of the sky to the way we wore the shorts. And it's like, what if hear me out here, it's a controversial third option where maybe we're just as good as however we are at that exact moment. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's like maybe not everything is one extreme, and I do think that it must be very emotionally tiring for the players when it's like they make an error and it's like, you are now shit and you've always been shit. And I'm actually going to go through a whole load of other things that we previously thought you weren't that bad on, and now you shit on all of them and all of it. It's like Bannon scores the goal, but then we concede through no fault of his, and it's like he was shit all game. Was he shit all game, or was actually just we made a shit mistake right there?
It's like when you get a Karen in a restaurant, could be a Keith, right? In a restaurant, and their meal isn't quite right. You know what I mean? The egg's overcooked, something like that. Now, what they'll do, instead of just going, "I'm sorry to be a pain, I like my eggs different," and they'll send it back. "All right, I'll get you another egg, madam," straight away. What they'll do, what most people do, will then go, and it's cold in here, and the service was
Yeah.
shit, and that's not what I drank, and you've ran
Boo.
out of ketchup, and all of a
Boo
sudden,
egg.
they complaint layer, and that's how
Yeah,
it
well, if you
seems
get
to-
your eggs right, that won't happen. So it's
I
something
will
simple
fight-
like
That's your job to
2p
cook
egg.
eggs.
Yeah, the chef is doing his job. He's got to get his eggs right.
50 grand
He's-
a week cooking them eggs. You
Yeah.
overpaid rat.
He's cooking 1,000 eggs all in one day. They're not all going to be right. Not all passes are going to go where you want them to do. Not all shots are going to be
Boo.
on target. But it's a rogue egg. You know what I mean? But that's
Yeah,
you're
but
right.
what Windass is saying is like you can't say that. But then if that's the case, you can't say you've been fantastic. You've won man of match this week. You've got to be rough with the smooth. You've got to be able to take both. And
But I think
not our fault that. Well, it is. Well, it is our fault that the good feeling in the summer and the players we've brought in, we've kept the manager, and we've had a little bit of good feeling that some of the fans are expecting like top 8, 6 because of the good feeling how they've brought players in. Now it's not above that. What Windass is saying is basically we should be 20th. That's it. And if we do well and get 6, we don't want anyone to say well done to us because everyone thought we were going to be 20th. You can't have it both, can it? Surely.
I agree with you, but I think it's deeper than that. I think it's somewhat
proportionate,
deeper.
It's
I think it is proportionate. Stevie, I've left you to it. Oh, he's frozen. That'd be why they're
frozen. I'm frozen.
Just sat there, just glazed over. You look like an unlocked character on someone's screen.
I am frozen. I just, if I'm honest with you, I just thought it was a bit of a slow news day. And
really,
today that article being written today, with due respect to Alex Miller, who I think is great, I think he's phenomenal.
Friend of the show.
Yeah, friend of the show, Alex Miller. I think he's a great journo. And I've got no axe to grind with Josh. For me personally, I just thought if we had 4 or 5 other things that we could have put on the press tonight or today, I don't think it would have got the traction that it's got. And I reading that article, it went on and on and on and on. And it said lots and lots of things without actually saying anything. What do we know?
A lot like this show.
Yeah, 100%. It's almost like if the Wednesday week was an article by Alex Miller. I just what have I taken away from it? Young players don't like being shouted at by 25,000 fans week in, week out. Yeah, we knew that. We don't want anybody to get on our backs. When everything's going well, we're going to be a lot more positive. Let's be positive when things aren't necessarily going well. Box tick, box tick, box ticked. I read it. Let's move on.
Let me tell you why I put it on the docket for tonight, and it's something that Sharman alludes to there. Sheffield Wednesday for a number of years have been utter trash. We've been run like a circus at some points. Not always. This is not a dig specifically at Chansiri. Sometimes got it wrong. Sometimes he's got it right. Annoyingly, right? Weirdly enough, right? Now, Sheffield Wednesday fans on the whole, we are an extremely loyal bunch, right? We've taken, we're averaging 20-odd thousand in League One. We're filling our ground. You know what I mean? We're turning up. We're paying what's the most expensive prices in the league. Have we not got a right to express? And is it because the crowd's so big, which is why the feedback? It's all well and good talking about the atmosphere at Hillsborough, but the other way, if we're losing, it's just more people screaming and shouting. You know what I mean? You won't get the atmosphere at Newport County the same you wouldn't get booed at Newport County because there's just not as many people there. You know what I mean? But we're doing our bit, and that's what pisses Sheffield Wednesday fans off the most. We're doing our bit. We're turning up. We're paying our money. And after 25 years, we've still not been rewarded with anything to really scream and shout about on a global scale. We want our shirts for sale in Turkey and China and you know what I mean, and we want our Nigerian stat masters talking about XG. We ain't got them, and we've been paying our money to get there. Obviously I'm being a bit facetious and tongue-in-cheek and whatnot, but the reason I brought that up was because I felt that we're doing our bit and we're not being rewarded for it on the pitch. And I think what we've got now is a quarter of a decade's worth of fans who are just pissed off. They're just pissed off. And
I I totally agree with everything that you're saying. What I've just said, I'm talking about the article itself, not the sentiment around it or the reason for the article being said, being written. I am 100% with you, Dan. It's obscene the amount of money that we have to pay to go and watch the football that we've got to watch. I understand why we have to go and do it, because mistakes have been made, and we've been talking about this for the last 5 years. Mistakes were made at some point, at a pivotal point, and we are recovering and continue to recover. And it feels like we're getting a little bit better in terms of the status quo, restoring that status quo. But you're right; it's our right to voice our disapproval when things aren't where they need to be. I understand the need for patience, but we've talked everything up, and the club itself has turned around and they've done an absolutely outstanding job of marketing over pre-season. They've done an outstanding job of getting the morale around the place up to the point where we probably over-expected this year. And, anybody that had aspirations of 8th, 9th, 10th, that is, as it stands at the moment, a very optimistic sort of objective to try and achieve. However, they did that because they've signed all these players and they've managed to secure the manager, and we've managed to get a fantastic kit, and we've managed to do this, and they're going over and above and beyond in terms of the commercial opportunities that they're offering. You look a little bit deeper for everything day to day. It's still costing an arm and a leg to get a mascot out there. It's the things that we're having to do. We've still got Chansiri on the shirt because what's going on there. There are still little bits that aren't quite right, but the club has raised the aspirations of the fan base, and when the aspirations aren't being met, then people are going to get pissed off, and people are pissed off.
Sorry.
Go on.
I said sorry again. I do. All I would say on that is, and I think I've said this.
She's not one of us.
Like,
Sorry.
I do just think that the expectations where you want to be. I think I've said this on the pod before. Like, I don't care. It's not about, to me, about winning or losing or drawing. It's about being run properly. It's about it being fair cop. So when we were just getting shafted by Chancellor all the time, and the club was dire and all the decisions, it was like we're building on shitty foundations here. For me, it's like I don't consider myself cheated if we concede in the dying seconds to QPR. I consider myself cheated when players wouldn't get their wages perhaps on time, or maybe the lights were going to get turned off, or things like that. And I think if you're like, I'm paying the prices, so I expect to see wins week out, maybe go and support Man City. I'm not trying to be an arse. I get it. But equally, what is the end goal? Because for me personally, I'm not saying that everyone has felt this. For me personally, I would just like to enjoy watching the football. Two of my greatest memories in recent years have been us getting promoted out of League One. Well, in order for that to happen, we had to get relegated out of League One. And the miracle of Hillsborough, which in order for that to happen, we had to go 4-0 down. So it's very easy. Equally, Roll keeping us up. Wow, the great escape, yeah, which only happened because we went so long unbeaten. If you've got to take the good with the smooth, you've got to take the bad with the net.
Sometimes maybe good.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes right. And I think I can see where Windass is coming from. I do agree it's his job. I do agree that fans will respond, but I do think that we are at risk of not providing a proportionate response to things sometimes. I do think we turn after 2 losses, we were like, maybe we should sack our manager. Really? Is that ever the answer? Is that after 2 games, is that really the answer? Or maybe we wait and he changes things. No, unfortunately, his fate is sealed. And I think we're traumatized by a lot of crap going on. But really, it's the actual football itself that gets played. Who knows what'll happen? Sunderland fans are not going to be ripping up their tickets because they lost to Wayne Rooney's Plymouth by scoring one of their goals for him. Do you know what I mean? I'm just trying to
I just want to compete. I thought it might bring up a lot more discussion, and it has done. There's been a few decent comments on it, and that one that you just put up there, Ash, from Tom, saying keyword for me is supporter. Get behind the team, don't berate them. Are you new here? Are you?
Who is this guy?
I don't think Tom's commented before. So welcome, Tom. It's a lovely show. Thank you for
like and subscribe, Tom.
Yeah.
Don't forget to ring the bell. So Final news in terms of getting it right, getting it wrong. This has been a hot topic all day, and just as Charlie alluded to then, in terms of overreacting, I did pop a tweet out earlier on. We managed to suck the fun out of something really quickly by Yorkshiring it so badly. So, as it stands, Sheffield Wednesday released a video that they are going to release a third strip. What we know so far, they're going to release a third strip, and it's going to have the original owl logo. No one seems to have remembered that owl is actually called Aussie, but that's what it's called. And we're going to have the what?
It's not the original owl.
It's the previous. It's the previous badge.
The 1970s owl.
Yeah.
It's the original owl for people of our age.
The fuck? I'll start again. The original owl called Aussie from the 60s, not 70s. Fucking hell, coming in here. Questioning all my jive. I was in a whole flow there, kids. I was in a whole flow. Now, there's been a lot of speak about it being blue and white, but my concern is if it's a third kit, in what realm would we wear a blue and white kit where we just wouldn't wear the home one?
White and blue is what it says on the website.
Jesus Christ, you've done your homework here, haven't you?
Is that what it says?
White and blue. It says white and blue.
So I assume it'll be a predominantly white one with blue pinstripes, similar to this year's. Now, on one hand, a lot of people are considering the fact that they're paying £69 for something they haven't seen. On the other hand, it does circumvent an image getting leaked online and people buying it from China, and it generates funds for the club. So I can see both sides of it from a business perspective and from, you guys have got 2 kids each, you lads. So, you know what I mean? There's already salivated children around South Yorkshire who are already wanting to get it, because I know for a fact, I've not pre-ordered one, and I know you have, Chaz, but I know for a fact,
salivated child.
As soon as yours gets delivered, I will get quite significant FOMO. You know what I mean? So you're in the 4 camp, Chaz. It's the FOMO, right? And you're going to buy it anyway, weren't you?
The thing is it's so difficult because I this makes me a hypocrite in a way, because am I allowed to say that I think the shirt prices are a disgrace? Like, they are a disgrace what they charge. But at the same time, with the greatest respect, you don't have to buy the shirt. Like, when I was going thieving git, I was also getting my credit card out to buy one.
Yeah.
So it's
this is ridiculous.
I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to buy 3 shirts this season already, one of which I don't even know what it looks like. I don't have to do that. There's a massive difference between that and things like tickets. Like, there's a difference between not being able to even see the football and I do think that people are reading quite a lot into it as opposed to seeing the positive. So they're like immediately like, oh, it's because we're skinny, we need to get loads of money. And it's like, well, no, because if you released it next year, if you released it any time, if you'd have released it this season, the idea being that it's like, we are letting you know way in advance that this is going to be something we think is going to be popular. People whined like buggery that they couldn't get one of the black shirts. And I feel like that was quite well explained why they did that. And everyone was like, oh my God, we can't pay our bills. He's skin. Here we go. And it's like, I mean, maybe we are. I just think that like, it feels like they're trying to do the right thing in terms of trying to secure, give people the opportunity to do it. You've got a whole year to like reserve one.
Yeah. Here's a solid business decision.
You've only got a week. You've only
got a week for the pre-order.
You've only got a week. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Scratch that bit. Ignore that. That's stupid.
Ash, am I right in thinking that what they have to do is reserve a slot with the manufacturers in order to get them out? Is that a thing? Is that something that has to happen?
Yeah. So I think it's mentioned in the thing that it was discussed on the engagement panel. They did say that they have to reserve a slot like 10 months or something daft like that before. And that's why, like the orange kit, I think they announced this week or last week that they've got the last number of orange kits and home kits in because of the slot. So I think every club who's with Macron gets given a date of when. So like people saying, I don't know, Stoke, theirs might be in like 2 months or something. Because you don't want all your orders in one, I imagine, in a factory that they all get made in. I don't know.
My knowledge of textile factory is sketchy.
I imagine that's how it goes. So the thing, and it was discussed about pre-orders because of the what happened with the blackout shirt. So basically, they want people to have the shirt, but then I imagine they don't want to be going, well, we'll get 25,000 of them and then only sell 10,000, and then they're left with it. But I don't know. I
It
don't
seems
know
like
why.
it circumnavigates the issue, right?
But I don't know why they've asked for the full price. Why not a deposit of
That's
what the
exactly
cost of the shirt is? So if the cost of the shirt is, say, £22 to them to manufacture or whatever it could be, then say, right, we want a £25 deposit. There you are for this shirt that's coming out. If it comes, and obviously, say, if you don't like it or anything, then you do lose your deposit. It's 25 quid.
Mm-hmm.
And then they've covered.
Yeah,
and
you
then
can
they
either
sell
wait
it.
and buy it when you can see
But-
it, or you gamble.
but-
Yeah.
The pre-order is not the only time to buy it, so it will be available next year. It's not limited edition. It's not like if you sell 10,000 pre-orders, that's it.
And that's
It's
probably
gonna-
where the confusion's come, isn't
Yes.
it? A lot of people
Yeah.
are thinking, if I don't order it this week, then I'm never going to get one because of what happened with the black shirt, and people are mixing the two up.
Yeah, but what the sly bastards have done is they've put a little sentence in there. No, it's sly. Put a little sentence in there saying you will be able to secure it at this season's prices. So
Yeah, I've just seen that
me,
Blair's commented that.
for me, that means that it's $69.99 this week for the pre-order, but next season, whenever, it could be 75 quid.
Surely
So,
they
or-
can't
or
put them
what-
up anymore. They
I
can't
know,
put
I
the
know.
price of the shirt up even more. They
Yeah.
can't. They
So it was
can't do that.
It was discussed on the engagement panel, and obviously it was all thing, but the 1 week sale, I don't think was discussed. I don't think they mentioned that at all.
That's stupid. There's no need for
Because
that.
for people, especially, they've already laid out 3 kits this season at £70 each. So what's that? 714, 210 quid if you bought all 3, but you don't have to buy all 3. I get that, but people do. So then you've got another set, so that's 280 quid, especially if you've got children as well. And you've got to find that in a week, another £70, which some people get paid monthly, the budget and all that. It's just shit. I don't believe it's a cash grab because of just the having to order.
It's so we don't have a load of stock at the end and stuff like that as well.
So if you had 10,000 at what is it 70 quid? What's that? 700 grand. But that's just in. That's not. So you might make 200 grand off that or something daft like that. It's not the biggest.
Not life changing, is it?
Yeah.
Especially when Bannon's on 40 grand a week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel like the ideas sound, but the execution seems to have pissed itself a little bit.
Yes. Yeah. That's how I see it.
Why are we the only club, to my knowledge, that are doing this?
Because we are looking for fun and exciting ways in order to get the headlines and get all of the appearances on the television, have people talking about us. But this and this is a bigger issue for me, Stephen. I'm glad you said that, because I feel that there is a point here that because Championship clubs are struggling to keep up with FFP and the promised land of Premier League and these fucking parachute payments, I feel that each club is trying to come up with a certain way of trying to generate funds. Now, my concern is, on the other hand of saying that, yes, the system's broken and it's ridiculous, but there are teams that are getting promoted and coming out of nowhere, like Luton, for example. Aston Villa, we were toe-to-toe with. They're in the Champions League. You know what I mean? A couple of years ago. Yeah. Our tickets were just as expensive as theirs. I'd even argue our attendances were probably better in League One at some point in the Championship with Villa. You know what I mean? And we're paying our money, but somehow, everybody seems to leave us in the dirt, and we seem to be generating funds all the time. What we're doing with this bloody money? And I'd love to know if that's Chancery's problem, or is it because South Yorkshire Police are more expensive? Is it because there's something around the ground that costs us more money than, for example, Derby County, who are in a car park in the arse end of nowhere, that type of thing? I'd love to know where that money goes.
Yeah, maybe.
I think they have tried to do something good, but poorly executed it. Obviously, the furore of the blackout shirt, they would have probably ordered that, like, say, 10 months ago or whatever it was, 12 months ago now, and they probably thought, oh, we'll put it on sale, it's limited edition, and got all the things. So they're thinking that if we can know how many to order. Because obviously they got the amount of black shirts wrong, didn't they? Basically, because there was still people that wanted them, probably a couple of thousand too short or something. that they've tried to come up with a way of trying to, so everyone got a shirt if they want one. It's just the fact they've done it like now, and it's another 70 quid.
Yeah,
and you've only got a week really, and they've like blackmailed you, because no doubt there's going to be kids who are going, "Oh, I've seen this new shirt, I want this owl," and all that, and parents are going to go, "I just bought the blackout one a month ago for 70 quid.
What size?
Do you know what? Must be personal, isn't it?
No, I'm doing the thing with the kid. I'm doing the role play. I'm doing the role play.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, look at Stevie's kid Molly, right? She now looks 26 compared to what she did 6 months ago. And like, imagine going, Dad, pre-order me that shirt, and it turns up and it fits tighter than the blackout one that I've got. Like, you know what I mean?
You'll still be covered by the law, for returns policy. So you're all right. So they are going to have, I imagine, a fair few hundred thousands or something in the shop to sell for exchanges, and you got the wrong size because you've been on a diet, or you've not been on a diet, or whatever the reason, you've grown or something. They've got to have that, really. So it's just a way of getting a rough number of shirts. You'll still be able to buy it, but it's going to be 75, 80.
The week window is probably the issue there, isn't it? More than,
because I don't understand that, because surely the whole purpose of doing limited edition is to drive up interest, but not so it's not an exclusive. So it's not only X amount of fans will get to have one of these. The idea it being limited edition is like, it's to drive up a level of interest. It's to drive up, like, oh, it was a limited edition, such and such. But it shouldn't just be only X were released into the world. And I think they've done everything. It was all going well, except this week is this idea of like, well, yes, people may still be able to buy it further down the line, but you're still trying to keep this like exclusivity with it. Yeah. And therefore it means it's only for people that can afford it right here, right now, or can't afford it right here, right now, and just love going into their overdraft for Sheffield Wednesday. But I don't understand where that bit's come from. That feels very grabby. And it also feels like that. Did they not realize that people were absolutely going to like spaff in their hair about, sorry, that's despicable, but like about the old badge coming back? You could sell anything with that old badge on and people go mental for it. Like you did not need to be like 1 week. You could have been like, for the next 6 months, put a £20 deposit down on such and such, and everyone would have just gone absolutely mental for it. Like there's no need to have added that extra like caveat in. That's crazy.
It was mentioned in the engagement panel, and that was what, 4 weeks ago. So why couldn't have they released it 2 weeks ago, and you've got 3 weeks to find your money or something? It's the week thing that gets me, because I think you're just holding people to ransom, and I don't think that's fair.
Yeah, I can see where it's gone. But listen, let's put a pin in that. It's obviously going to be a hot topic that's going to rumble all over the social medias, on your YouTubes and your rest of your social medias. Ashley, now we do sponsor a. Can I call them a ladies' football team? I know it sounds like
that's what they are.
That's what they are.
Okay. So we sponsor one of the players from Sheffield Wednesday's ladies' team. I will let you.
You can't say that though.
Whoa.
What now?
Press 1 for Dan Fudge. Yes, I'll have it.
What? What did I say?
Oh, it's cancelled.
Fuck's sake. Ash, talk now, please.
Yeah, so yes, Sheffield Wednesday Ladies Football Club. We sponsor Amy Broomhead, Sheffield Wednesday Ladies number 8, goal machine she is, and they played Brunsmere yesterday, 3 o'clock kickoff at home, and apologies, I was not there, but by all accounts, it was a good game. Unfortunately, they suffered the second defeat of the season, lost 5-4. But good news is Amy got 2 goals, so well done, Amy. Was it the Wednesday week? Well done. And also Harriet, forgive me, Harriet, what's her name?
What, the photographer
Harriet
lady?
Lloyd. No.
All right.
Harriet Lloyd got 2 on her debut as well. So 2 for Amy, 2 for Harriet. So yeah, 5 unfortunately, but fantastic.
They were 5-1 down as well, weren't they?
Yeah, they
were
back.
5-1 down.
Yeah, came back. So I think they're moving in the right direction. Bearing in mind that they've just got promoted this season as well. Yeah. So they're leveled up.
Oh yeah.
So
yes,
fair play to them.
Yeah, they've leveled up. So it's going to they'll find out. Obviously, the first 2 games not gone their way, but hey, scoring goals is great. So yeah, well done, ladies, and yeah, really good. We're going to get down there in a couple of weeks, I believe, as well.
Yeah, we just get drunk and just start waving our shirt around, and that's just Holly and Charlie. Listen, I'm going to wrap this up towards the end. Does anybody else have any other business?
Blackpool coming up.
Yep.
Is that the next game?
Yep.
Blackpool tomorrow.
Where are we? What day
We'll
is
be
it?
in the fourth round of the cup.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ash is going to tell us.
Go on.
You're going to tell us all about fish and chips, aren't you?
I'm going to try and grab some. I'm going to try and grab some so I can do a bit of comparison to
Ash's chippy review.
Ash's chippy review, yeah. Yeah, I'm going to get off there. Can't wait. There's a few of us off the pod going, I believe, as well. So we'll meet up, no doubt, for a water by the seaside. But looking forward to it. Not been to Blackpool Stadium. Bloomfield Road.
Bloomfield Road.
So looking forward. Steve Bruce as well. I can't wait to see my mate again.
Steve.
Yeah. Josh Onomar's there on trial as well at the minute.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, it's a right old little reunion, isn't it?
It is, isn't it? Yeah. So he's there. Yeah, it's got to be one of those. Looking, obviously they're lower league, so just don't want. Easy to say though, when we're down 1-0 at half time like Grimsby to lose his heads. I am imagining a much changed team. So let's see. Hope to see Kabaski again. I think he could be good.
Go on, Stevie.
Just one last bit. One last AOB. The scenes on Saturday night in the LMS WhatsApp group was an absolute. It was carnage.
So, boys and girls, I'm just going to bring you up to date with this. It's an absolute cheating farce that's going off, and I can't bring it on. Fashion chips, brilliant. Now, so the last man standing is a collective from our gambling officer and HR diversity head in Stevie Spence, and what happened was you obviously you pick a team that's going to win, and about 80% of us got kicked out round one, didn't they, Stevie?
55 people in the group, and as of tonight, the last game's live, and as it stands at the minute, Birmingham are beating Wrexham 2-1, which means that 15 people out of 55 will go through. What we have done in the interests of community/charity, we've said that we'll do a round one buyback in, and I think at least based on that chat that I've not read today because I've been at work, there were 50 unopened messages, I think, by the time I picked my phone up this afternoon.
That's people whinging about the kit, Stevie. I won't worry.
Yeah, that's fine. Saturday, everybody went out at 5 o'clock, 5:01. Ash, I've just paid my tenner. I'll be back in next week. So the jackpot's probably going to, it'll be up by another 75%.
Some people had had like some shame about them and were like, "I've got the dignity to go out." I was like, "Nope, not my fault that Barnsley shit. I will have another £10.
I will be back in."
I think I've just quick look. I think I've had 17 payments. So I think 17 people are back in. So that's another, what should we say, 50 odd quid to the community fund as well. So that's fantastic.
Which is, jokes aside, that's the reason that we do it. It's great to have the banter. It's it's nice for somebody to win a stack of money, which will probably end up being over £500 at this rate on the next round. But what that means is the 30% that goes to the community initiative will be money that we can do. We're talking about kits for the people that can't necessarily afford to buy kits. We're not saying that we're going to buy next year's third kit because we're not that far down the line. But what we can do is we can offer opportunities.
Actually, he's already done it. He's got that look in his face. I
know. As soon as I looked up, then I saw the gleam in his eye.
Grinning away. He's already done it.
No. I've got my WhatsApp up on the other screen. I've just had a message come through from someone that just made me laugh. So sorry.
All right.
Ultra professional.
But thank you very much for everybody in that WhatsApp chat. If you're not involved this time round, if and when we get to play LMS4, which will probably be November time, it'd be great to see more people getting involved because it allows us to do the things that we do. And you guys seem to enjoy it, so it's great.
Listen, thanks a lot for playing. And listen, I wanted to say thanks a lot for you three joining me this evening. I want to say thanks to you lot that watch us every week as well. You know, since we started doing this live format, we've had a good few people that we recognise come in. I don't get to thank you enough. And watching you chaps kind of interact with each other on the comments is actually really kind of heartwarming. I love being here for you on a Monday night. So thanks a lot for joining us there. So all that remains me to say, I don't know if that is that right, Stevie?
Yeah.
Spence?
All that remains for me to say is,
I think I said something like that. Thanks a lot, and see you later.
Every week, live from 8 p.m. It's the Wednesday week, bringing you football analysis.
he came in. I think he scored a goal.
Bringing you banter.
Yeah.
Bringing you responsible life hacks.
Met you wonderful souls at 10 a.m. for some shots.
The Wednesday week. 1, 2, 3, 4 live. Available on all social medias.
Obviously, this goes out on YouTube and as well as all the other social media out there, podcasts, etc.
The Wednesday week 24-25 season. Join us.
Put on your podcast.